of hippos. That's their group name, antelope. They spend a lot of time in the water mainly to keep that body temperature nice and cool from the heat, which I don't blame them. It gets pretty hot here in Africa. However, I would not want to be in the water with some hippos. They're very dangerous and extremely territorial. They do even have fights that last up to about 2 hours or so. Speaking of hippos, there's one right on the left-hand side. It's kind of out of the water there. Really see how big it is. They weigh anywhere up to about 5,500 pounds. Guys, just make sure you're fully seated for me, guys. As I said, it's very important that everyone stays fully seated. If you're kind of standing up, make sure you're fully seated for me, guys. Thank you. Fully seated. It just gets pretty bumpy out here. Hippos do come out in the water mainly during the nighttime hour to look for food. They'll tend to travel anywhere up to about 7 miles or so looking for it. They're surprisingly fast for their size. They'll go about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Same speed as a tiger. And they're herbivores, so they rely on leafy greens to keep them nice and healthy. Opposite of herbivores, carnivores. Speaking of some carnivores, below us are some Nile crocodiles. Nile crocodiles will grow to be about 16 feet long, 500 pounds, and live to be about 40 years old or so. They do have longer lifespans, and they are very dangerous animals. They have the ability to clamp their jaw shut with 2,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. They also have a top running speed of about 10 miles per hour. And our truck only goes 8. So we're going to twin day out of here. Trees are moving up ahead, which is a very good sign for the savannah. On our way to the savannah is a unique looking tree here on the right. It's called a baobab tree. Nicknamed the upside down tree because they do go about 9 months out of the year looking like an upside down uprooted tree. Coolest thing about that tree is the trunk. It's very massive. Holds hundreds of thousands of gallons of water in it. What elephants will tend to do is they'll use their tusks, poke holes in the bottom of the trunk to get the water out. Think of it kind of like a giant Capri Sun for them. We're making our way down the savannah. It looks like we're seeing a few giraffes as we get on down here. Don't worry, Hakuna Matata. We're going to talk about them as we get a little bit close to them. I definitely have cameras down ready. This is some of the best picture taking on the reserve. Can't stop for all the animals, but I will try to slow down when possible. If I do make any stops, it's for a very short amount of time, a few seconds or so. Just because our truck stops doesn't mean those animals are stopping for us. They are wild and they don't know how to pose for the camera. So if you have an action or a sports setting mode, I would set it to that. Right as we come on down, there's not too much activity here, but we are going to kind of go around this den area. Dens like this are a really great place to look for maybe some hyenas, spotted African wild dogs. You never know what you're going to see. It's getting a little bit later in the day, so we're going to keep a lookout for maybe some hyenas here. I see one. It's on top of the rocks over here on the left-hand side. Spotted hyenas are extremely nocturnal, so they don't typically get more active till the late evening hour. They aren't related to a cat or a dog. They are related to themselves. They are their own species called Hyenidae. You live in a female-dominated clan, so you have your highest-ranking female. Make sure you're fully seated for me, guys. You live in a female-dominated clan, so you have your highest-ranking female down to your lowest-ranking female. That lowest-ranking female will still be higher than your highest-ranking male. Also, looks like there are some sable antelopes over here. Sable do look pretty regal and majestic. They're even on the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Something unique about them is their coloring. They do get darker as they get older. The darkest ones within the herd are going to be male. Now there is one male that's darker than the rest of them. He is the male dominant. However, he can lose the dominance if that does happen. He will lose that color as well. And a new male will take over the darker color. We're also seeing the springbok. The very tiny antelopes are springbok. They look very regal and majestic. They're very small too. They kind of look like babies, but that is going to be their full-grown size, about 100 pounds or so. They are the smallest type of antelope in Africa. Now, springbok in Afrikaans and Dutch means spring, which means jump or leap. Bok means goat or antelope, so jumping, leaping goat. They live about 13 feet forward and about 5 to 8 feet in the air. They do have a top running speed about 50 to 60 miles per hour. So they are the second fastest animal in Africa, just second to the cheetah.